Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Comics for All. Today is Thursday, February 12th, 2026. Thank you for joining us wherever you are in the world. My name is Jameson. I'm your host here at Comics for All, a comics librarian. Today we have two guests. As you can see, we have Joey and Tony, both co-creators on SuperGuy. We're going to dive into all things SuperGuy today. So thanks for joining us, guys. Appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for having us. This is awesome.
Yeah, I've been looking forward to this one for quite a bit because I've got SuperGuy, issue number 1. So I definitely wanted to help promote the upcoming Kickstarter, or one that's almost funded. So we'll talk about that in a few minutes too. So to kick off the conversation for both of you guys, what hooked you guys into comics as a reader?
Anthony, you want to go first?
So for me, I didn't start really hardcore reading comics until like high school, like 2008. So that was when Marvel was putting out like Civil War, House of M. Like those were like two of the first big Marvel books I read.
House of M is a huge event. Whew.
Yeah. But like I always knew the X-Men, right? Because I watched the animated series. I loved the live action movies. And I did, read comics here and there, but like I knew enough lore about the X-Men that it was kind of easy to jump into, and it made me want to read the comics more. And that event is just so awesome, no more mutants and all that, like classic. Yeah. So obviously that sucked me in. And then on the DC side, it was Identity and Infinite Crisis. Yeah, those are like big events too, and they have a ton of characters, but like, Identity Crisis is like the core Justice League. Maybe there's some characters I wasn't so familiar with, but again, from like the animated series and things like that, I knew enough about these characters to be like, all right, like I'm ready to jump in. And that helped me get into comics, like those 90s animated shows, all the live action movies that came out like as we were growing up. And like once I read those events, I started reading everything. I went back to some classic runs. I tried to start keeping up with what was coming out at the time. And I'm not in my room right now, but, I've posted pictures of my collection and you can see how crazy that's gotten. So
I feel like I was a bit late to the game as far as comic book reading goes. Like as a kid, I always read like Calvin and Hobbes and like the Sunday comics and a lot of Archie. But like as far as like superhero comics and stuff, it wasn't really until like the MCU started kind of getting going, like right. And I'd watched like the first bunch, and then like the Avengers, and I was like, oh, this is like, I like these movies, they're a lot of fun, but like, who is that purple guy at the end? Like, what is that all about? Because the audience seemed to know who that was and get very excited. And I feel like I'm missing out. What is this? And I like Googled, and like as the movies came out, and I would just like kind of do like research on like what is like the story kind of based on, like who are these characters. And then my algorithm got a hold of that, and I started seeing a lot of like comic book pages and stuff, both Marvel and DC, in like my feed, just a lot. And I was like, this. The more that I read it, the more interested I got. And then when we started doing like SuperGuy, Anthony and our buddy Jake and stuff would give me a lot of recommendations to read, and I would go through those. And so I've been catching up, but I'm still a bit behind.
Nothing wrong with that. That's the beauty of comics. Anyone can catch up and just jump in at any time. So for both of you too, when did you both realize as a young person or as an adult that you actually wanted to be part of the creative part of the comics community?
For me, it wasn't really like I'd been drawing for however long and kind of doing my own stories and stuff, and for a couple of years in a row, I would do like a comic book type Inktober story where I do like a page of the comic each day of the month of October on Instagram.
Right.
So I was just kind of doing my own thing there. And then it wasn't again until Anthony came and we started working on SuperGuy that I was like, this is actually really kind of a lot of fun to be part of like this creative like collaboration and stuff. And it's just been a blast. It's still pretty new, but I'm having a good time doing it, and I'd like to keep doing it as long as I can. You know.
Wait, Joey, didn't you also show me like in 5th grade, like you had drawn something?
Yes, thank you. I completely forgot. God, my own life. Who knows? No, thank you. I did this way back in like 7th grade on the back of a science worksheet. I was just like bored and doodling, and as a big Calvin and Hobbes fan, I was just like, I kind of like his spaceman spiff persona. I'm gonna do like a little Sunday comic, just one little page, like a bip, bip, bip. Here's a fun little thing that this space adventurer does. And I got to the end of the page and I was like, this, I'm not like, this isn't it. Like I'm out of space, so I got to take out another paper and just keep the story going, because like it didn't end in like a a typical Sunday comic kind of punchline at the end of the page. And pages and pages and pages, and like I have this book that I'm writing of this like little space adventurer whose name was Buzz Flightgear, who like if I wanted to bring this like into like serious stuff, I have to change his name for copyright and everything. But it started out as just like a homage to Spaceman Spiff, and it evolved into its own like probably this thick story of like just a space adventure and like all these different characters and storylines and bad guys and good versus evil. And like I would work on it in high school, like during lunch, just sitting my senior year in the senior hall, everyone's eating lunch and I'm just drawing. People are like, oh, what are you working on? And then like people just watch me create this story off the top of my head. And one fun thing was like, I remember one day I was working on it and I realized a page and a half in that I've been using pen instead of pencil. And like my young mind was like, you can't be like jumping from one thing to the other. Like this makes no sense. And, like, how can it be in pencil? And now all of a sudden it's ink. And so I was like, well, what if the characters knew that they were in ink and they happen to be the bad guys? And they're like, only we can be in ink and everything else has to be in pencil. And so like going forward, I had this like Roger Rabbit-esque thing where like everything is in pencil except for the bad guys who are in ink, because they were like, you gotta do it, otherwise we're gonna get you. And I'm just like, oh god, can't do that. All right, whatever you guys say, as the narrator.
Love that.
I gotta find that thing and see if I can revamp that.
Yeah,
thanks for reminding me, Anthony.
No, for sure, because you showed me that, but it also had reminded me that like in the 6th grade and 7th grade, I also tried to make my own comic and even draw it. right? Like I'm a writer, right? So like I've always wanted to write. I was writing stories when I was like, in school. They would give you, little paragraphs that you start out with, and then I just really like that, like my imagination was always like my strongest like gift. So like I would like, always make up stories and stuff. Like I maybe you would call me like a liar as a kid, but you knew I was like telling a story, it was like that kind of. But it was more for fun, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And another reader-centric question, kind of to start us off. What's something you've read in the last year that's really stuck with you? Can be indie, major, or both, if you got both.
Oh, for me, it's definitely Spectators. Spectators by Brian K. Vaughan, Nico Henrikon from Image Comics. That was so good. We actually just put out an episode today on Comics and Chronic about it.
Nice.
And we all agree it was just like one of the best comics we've read in recent years. I read it like in 2025. That's when like the hardcover came out. It's really interesting. Like it's about this woman dies. She gets shot in a movie theater. She becomes a ghost, and it follows her in the afterlife. But the afterlife is really just her hanging out on Earth and just watching people have sex all the time. Like she's into that, and she's like, "What else am I gonna do?" And she meets another guy who's been dead since like the 1800s. He's a cowboy. And they just go on an adventure and kind of have like these talks about like how like movies shape their life. But at the same time, they're also in the future, and everything is nuts. And like people are dropping nukes on each other and the world's about to end. There's a lot of sex happening, a lot of sex robots. Like if you skim through it, right, it seems like really like raunchy and like like not a deep comic, but like it's one of the deepest comics I've ever read as well. Like it's just, I highly recommend it. Like it sounds out there and like it's hard to just sum up in a sentence what it is, but that's what I love about it too, you know?
Exactly. It's a good point. Joey, how about you?
I gotta add that to my list.
Yeah.
There's been a couple. The ones that come to mind, Saga, which I've only read like the first book of, like the
Also Brian K. Vaughan.
Yeah.
compendium.
There's a theme there.
It's so good. It is like I can't wait to like once we're done with like this campaign and the second book, I'm gonna sit down and read my backlog of comics and get more of that Saga because I gotta finish that story. It's so amazing. Like it's written so well. The art is incredible. The characters are great. Like the fact that like it takes characters that like you're meant to hate and you love to hate, and then through the story you're just like, oh my god, I love this character, not just because he's, you know, this and that, but like they really make you feel for him, and then just like, oh, you never know like who's gonna die when or like what, like nobody's safe, and I kind of like that a lot. Like there's very little plot armor. It's a beautiful story. Also beautiful Woman of Tomorrow, the Supergirl. Which I just read. That's really
Great
good.
choice.
The artwork is incredible. I don't know how to pronounce her name. Belquist Devley, I think. I don't know. She does the art for it. Yeah, just phenomenal. Like there'd be pages where I just like sit and stare at it for like 5-10 minutes, just like looking at just the artwork because it's gorgeous. So good. And then what I just read, Nice House by the Sea. The Nice House on the Lake, like those, that whole story is one of my favorites. It's so good.
Yeah, anything Tinian or Tinian touches, however you pronounce it, it's gold pretty much.
Yep.
Before we dive in, majorly into SuperGuy, how are you guys kind of feeling where the campaign sits right now? If you can kind of share a status update where it's at right now.
Yeah, so as of this recording right now, we're live. So as of right now at 8:42 p.m., we're at 95%.
Nice.
So we launched on Tuesday. We're so close. Like we're right there. We're right there. Like one person can honestly make a difference with like one like our biggest reward. But like, we're there. I know we're going to get there. Like without a doubt.
Just put it in the chat for anybody watching out there.
Thank you. But we still have a month to go. Like, we just started. And I'm feeling good about it. I was a little stressed. At first, but I think we're there.
There's always like a little bit of stress when you're starting a campaign.
Getting your funding goal.
Yeah. It's pretty exciting.
It is. So for both of you, can you guys kind of give us your pitch for what SuperGuy is as a character and or series, and kind of what separates it from other superhero books out there?
Sure.
Well,
so
I mean, he's like you go ahead.
No, you had something. Go.
I was just gonna say, like, basically the pitch is like, lazy superhero, Superman if he was lazy. He doesn't want to do the work. He has his robot sidekick do all of it, but he needs the credit. And if he doesn't get it, it's not a good time.
Yeah.
But he's not bad. He's just lazy.
Yeah, exactly. Like that. And to answer the second part of your question, like what makes it different from other comics, other superheroes, like we've seen lazy, evil Superman plenty of times. Right. We haven't really seen lazy Superman. So we thought it would be funny to play around with the idea of what if some guy had all the powers of someone like Superman, but decided not to use them. Didn't really want to use them. He could use them, but he'd rather sit at home and watch
middle of a
TV.
show.
Yeah.
That's right. So now we get to dive into the Kickstarter itself, which I'll pull up here in a second. But for anyone who did miss the first campaign, what should readers know about the first issue, and where does the end of issue 1 kind of leave the story and the characters?
So, I mean, the whole story with issue 1 is that Robot Guy stops a meteor from crashing into the big city, into Earth. SuperGuy, of course, takes the credit for that because that's what he does. And, that ticks Robot Guy off, but it doesn't set him off quite yet. But it inspires him. It makes him realize, hey, I want to be a hero. I want to, who cares if I'm just seen as the sidekick? Who cares if everyone hates me? I want to be the hero because it's the right thing to do, right? So he goes out. He hears that some people are in trouble with the landlord. And he pretty much goes through a gauntlet in this awesome double-page spread that Joey did. he just goes through a gauntlet of SuperGuy's villains. And SuperGuy catches this on TV, like the news is reporting it. Like the way we set it up, it's like a neat little montage. And that really ticks SuperGuy off, kind of like how Joey was hinting at before. And they get into a big fight. Like this is the first time we see SuperGuy use his powers, because like he doesn't use his powers to protect people or save the day. He uses it to defend like his own ego, basically. Like no one else is going to be taking credit for the heroing in the city. You know, just the fact that people liked Robot Guy for a second made him mad.
Right.
But again, he's not evil. He's just lazy, and he just has a big ego. He's just kind of a big jerk. So that leads to a battle where both of them just beat the crap out of each other and destroy the big city. And they decide at the end of that issue, as they're both about to pass out from, you know, the huge battle, that they're not going to be hero and sidekick anymore. And that's, you know, in a nutshell, that's the first issue with a bunch of spoilers thrown in, but not every spoiler's in there. And the thing with SuperGuy is along the way, he destroys other things, right? Like there's a one shot and there's issue 1. Part of the Kickstarter, by the way, is that for the first time, we have the one shot and issue 1 together in one nice beefy book. So whether you've not read SuperGuy and need somewhere to start, that's it. Or if you want it collected, which nobody really has unless you have that exclusive Ash can, which was just a very limited print because I, you know, was testing it out, and that was just meant to be like for like Comic-Con to give away. So this is just for everybody, whoever wants it. So when you get those stories together, you see that SuperGuy and the president, we call him the Prez, they keep running into each other. SuperGuy destroys the White House in the one shot. And part of the White House being destroyed is that Robot Guy's invading alien fleet has also been destroyed by Robot Guy. So it's debris, spaceship parts falling from the sky. And somewhere in that mess is the president's daughter. At the end of issue 1, we kind of button it with the fact that the president's daughter is still alive after all that, but there's something that's been chemically changed in her, and that she's now a giant pink monster, and she's pissed off and wants revenge with SuperGuy, on SuperGuy. So that's where issue 2 kicks off, and that's what it's all about. That you know, SuperGuy's licking his wounds from that big battle in issue 1. Robot Guy's out there in the big city trying to be a hero, and Hot Mess, aka the Prez's daughter, is on a rampage through the city wanting to beat the crap out of SuperGuy.
Man, that's lovely.
That's a lot, yeah.
but well done.
Thank you.
And this is actually a good question for both of you. What's something in issue 1 that each of you is kind of especially proud of, either a scene, a panel, or kind of like a visual motif, or just something that you're like, wow, I'm pretty proud of that?
For me, it's that double page spread.
Yeah.
It's just, there's so much going on. There's so much detail. There's so much color. It took a few days from start to finish to get it all out, but I'm so proud of it. And every time I like look at it, I just have to admire my own work.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's the one. Look at that. Like especially like the high killer on the dinosaur. I'm pointing at my screen like you guys can see. I'm pointing. Oh my god! When he's on the top of the dinosaur bone, like the bones themselves look so cool. Everything is just. Yeah. I'm so proud of it.
Yeah. No, because there's so much going on that page too, but you make it work, you know? Like I was like, yeah. I you know, like going forward, we would probably structure that a different way just because I knew it was so much.
Right.
I mean, like now I'll go through it and I see it and I'm just like, oh, I can see how like I can take these 2 panels and put them into one. Like I didn't need like this and that. But like at the time I was like, that makes sense. This is how you do it. But like now I'm just like, oh, like I could have saved like time and like page space by like, you know, combining some of these things, and it still works, but
hell yeah,
you know, it would have been just a little bit less. What's the word I'm looking for? I can't think of what it is. Everything all pressed together.
Compressed.
Completely. Thank you. Yes. Yeah, it'd be less compressed.
Words are hard sometimes.
They are.
And I got my Sean Von Gorman issue of Copy.
Hell yeah.
So I also had him.
Look at that.
Shout out Sean. I had him on the channel a couple weeks ago. So
he's great. I love Sean.
Oh, I know he's great. I'm looking forward to seeing him again. So now I got the Kickstarter page pulled up. If you guys can talk about why Kickstarter is the right home for SuperGuy, and what can you share from that you learned from the first campaign?
I feel like Kickstarter is really, I mean, there's other websites like Kickstarter, but I feel like crowdfunding is really the only way to get a comic out there right now. I mean, for someone that, you know, it's just us, right? We don't know. We're just two guys making comics, you know? So like, how else do we get people to like find it, have a way to access it very easily, set it up that we could sell it to you? Like, it's just the answer, right? So it's kind of, there's no other option than Kickstarter. But at the same time, you know, like because of Kickstarter, I could then, okay, build a little bit of an audience. We have people that are reading the book. Now I could go to cons and sell the book. And that is not something I could have just done without the Kickstarter happening in the first place, you know, like, so now they just kind of will start to build off of each other. Cause I only just started going to cons last year. Definitely going to go to a few this year again. But that opens it up for me a little bit too, you know, and to just, we both now have something that is like, we could prove, at least with the first campaign, I know we're going to be able to prove it. This goal is definitely going to be funded again. But that, hey, look, we have this successful comic, you know, people want to read it. We have enough people out there that are interested in 2 issues now. I think that's a lot of confidence in, I guess I don't want to call us unknowns, but might as well, right? Like we're just trying to become, I mean, we are comic book creators. Fuck it. Like we're doing it, right? Like, so that's what it is. But you know, sometimes it just, I guess it still doesn't feel real, you know, like it just feels like it's a lot of work, you know, of course it's a lot of work. Like Joey's still working on it. You know, this, like, we want this to be perfect when we get it in people's hands. And I don't know, I feel like just what did we learn from the first campaign? Like, just like promote the hell out of it, you know, like make sure people, there's no other way, right? We were talking about this earlier, like with just promoting this live, right? Like you just got to keep doing it. Like you never know what people are going to see when you post it because of the algorithm or whatever. And like even someone today who I know follows me and has liked plenty of my posts is like, oh man, it's the campaign is live. I'm like, yeah, like we launched on Tuesday. Like, and I know like that person probably missed, even though like I know I'm posting about it a lot. I have no control over like what the algorithm is showing anybody. So that's kind of mind boggling, but it's also like the reality of it for everybody. So I think, you know, promo also means like make sure like even it has to be way before Tuesday that I was making sure people knew about it, that I was getting people interested in the idea of like a second issue, you know, like we've been and I'm saying but like we've been doing so much in the past, in between issue 1 and 2 in the past year. Like Joey's done some cool art. Like one of the things, like instantly, like it was really only limited to 25 people, but in the Kickstarter we have these prints that Joey did. I think if like you scroll down, you could see it's the Eyes Up Here print. And that was something Joey did like when Superman came out. We thought it was the perfect opportunity, talking about promo, to like connect the two, because of course he's like, we're saying he's a lazy Superman. So there's that connection there. So sorry, it's not going to be under the rewards, but in the campaign section.
Got it.
Yeah, because it's not something like that you could get. We're just giving it for free to the first 25 physical backers. And you could see we're already in the 60s. So if you're listening, you can't get that anymore. But maybe we'll figure something out. Maybe I'll just print some more and I'll be generous about it. But the thing that everyone is getting for free is a print from an artist called Wizard Shit. I love his name. Look at those great pages. Yeah, you get like an 8-page preview we have up there. A preview of some of Joey's sketches, because Joey's doing exclusive sketch covers.
He is.
There's the poster from Wizard Shit. Every physical backer is getting one of these for free. We loved it. This surprised us so much. I definitely want to work more with this artist, every artist that's part of this campaign, but this blew me away. The other print, and you posted that earlier as well, Jameson, is the Andrea Schiavone print that
there we go.
It's a selfie print. Look at that. It's so cool. I love his style. I love his style. That's the cool thing about the campaign, right? Like Joey's style, I feel like is so unique, and it's what gives the soul to Robot Guy and Super Guy. But our variants are also so diverse.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I purposely wanted to choose artists that had different styles, but also I'm pretty proud of the fact that our artist lineup is also diverse. Like we have Ahmed Rafet, who's an Egyptian comic book artist. We have Adrian Kalarick, who's a Canadian comic book artist. We have Andrew Drilland, who's a Filipino comic book artist. You know what I mean? Like I really am proud of that fact because I want there to be diversity in the art. And we're like two white guys, right? So like we do want to make it as diverse as possible. Like that's I think we take that seriously. And I like again, I'm proud of that. But like the art is so cool. Like if this was not our campaign, I would be buying these covers, you know, like, and I wanted to have that feeling because that's another thing. Like everyone has a Kickstarter, right? And everyone's trying to sell a comic. And I really believe in the story, but like I can't show you the whole story. Like you could have issue 1, but you might not have even read issue 1. But Joey's art and these covers could at least give you like that feeling that we want you to have when you read the comic.
100%. And this is actually a good question for Joey. How do you approach doing, you know, a special cover, for instance, versus the interior art? How do you approach that differently?
It's pretty close. The main difference is, I think, like with the cover, I try to put like a little bit more like detail into it to make it look more like eye-catching. If you're just like kind of going through like covers in like a comic book store or something, you want something that'll like catch the reader's eye, but like still have like the same like energy and feel and like kind of main look as the inside art. So it's not like, oh, here's photorealistic on the cover, and then inside it's like cartoon. Like, you think you're getting one thing and not, you know, getting something else. I just try to like put a little bit more like texture and like different, you know, like bit of like detail and color in there. And so like there's a lot more hair on her shoulder in this one than on the inside, just because there's more space, and so I can throw that detail in there because it's not like a tiny little box of a panel; it's a whole thing. Yeah.
I was going to actually have you guys. I'm
getting a kick of my.
Anthony already went into it a little bit, but if you want to just talk about the kind of the different reward tiers with the variants and all that, just kind of a couple that you were like, wow, these are a great entry point.
Yeah, for sure. So for each variant, there's a tier for that. So you could pick if you just want that one cover, you could get that cover. But everything is also available as an add-on.
Right.
If you want 2 different covers, you just select any of the tiers that have the cover, and then you could just add the other cover as an add-on, every cover as an add-on if you want. I do really want to point out Joey's new cover for issue 1 that is the super deluxe edition, like we were talking about before. So it also includes the one shot. And I think that just gives you a more of a complete story. And it's obviously like 38 pages plus. So it's like, it's a beefy one. And it's definitely going to set you up for issue 2 if you haven't read issue 1 yet. But even if you have read it, like I was saying, again, that's really the only place you're going to be able to have the one shot in a physical edition. And I just want to push that because I just think that's so cool. And I think that's going to be more of how SuperGuy would be presented in the future. Like, of course, what we want to eventually do is have it in a nice collected edition. And I think as it evolves, you know, the story is going to be tighter by the time we get to 4 issues. Like we, you know, as we're writing it, Joey was kind of alluding to it before, as we were creating this comic, like we're kind of learning how to make comics at the same time, right? So we're always getting better and understanding it more. And so that's why, like, you know, like even including, like, you know, I feel like including the one shot in issue 1 probably should have been something we did for the first campaign, you know, just to make it easier for everyone to jump on if I have to keep explaining the one shot, you know. So I feel like that's important to this one. And then of course Joey's, like we kind of brushed over it before, but Joey's doing exclusive sketch variants.
I saw that on there. Let me scroll down there.
It's pretty exciting. Like there'll be like custom hand drawn cover.
There we go.
If you
Yeah.
choose that tier.
Love that.
So Joey, you were doing
those are
these
good.
in during Inktober, right?
Oh yeah, so I misunderstood. I thought we were talking about the cover tiers where I'm doing the art on that. But yeah, no, I did do a few of these custom drawings for Inktober using whatever the Inktober prompt list was. I didn't have time to do all of them, but I did a few that I thought were pretty good. They're Sting.
Yeah.
There we go. Just that one. There we go.
Yeah, so those.
No, I just wanted to point them out because I feel like it's a good example of like the kind of sketches you could do, you know?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. God, look at that.
And I really like these. I thought they were so cool.
Oh yeah,
They're
100%.
pretty cool.
Sure. I like this one a lot too.
Yeah. Just, you know, showing like he's a robot, but he's got sensitivity. He's gentle.
Right.
He's not just a mindless machine.
Exactly.
He can appreciate, you know, the delicate beauty of life.
Yeah.
Now we get to delve a little bit into your guys' collaborative process working together. Can you walk us through kind of a typical SuperGuy page? You know, Anthony hands over what, and what does Joey hand back to Anthony?
Well, he basically hands me the whole script, and like I read over that, and I laugh and get excited, and I typically do like one page at a time because that's how it works. But like I'll finish like a sketch, like the rough sketch of a page, and I'll send that out, and Anthony will be like, "Yes, this is exactly right," or like, "Oh, what if it's just a little bit like this?" or like, "Can we add, you know, this little bit of dialogue?" And then from there, get the go ahead basically to start inking. I ink that up, and then just go from there straight into coloring and rendering. It's pretty streamlined.
Well, Joey, actually, a follow-up question on that end is, can you tell the viewers out there a couple of your like go-to tools in making art in 26? I feel like that doesn't get talked about enough. Like, what are the tools that a lot of artists are using right now?
Well, I use Procreate pretty exclusively because it's on my iPad, so it's super portable and like there's no cleanup, and I can, you know, do it on the bed or on the couch or at work on lunch break or, you know, wherever I want. And you know, like there's all the different brushes that I can use, so I have like different medium styles that I throw in there, but it's all digital, which is nice because it's easy to manipulate, and if I need to move things around, I can, with just like basically a click of a button, so to speak, instead of having to erase whole swatches of page and redraw
Absolutely.
it. You know, I do admire like the comic artists who do it the analog way, where it's like it's all pencil and ink on paper. I'm just like, God, like that's so like impressive, but also nerve-wracking. Like, I would just like, if I make one mistake, you know, that's big enough to be like, oh, like you just start over. Like, I don't know how you would go from there.
Yeah. This is actually a really good question too. Can each of you share an example, or even if you only have one, but where the other person took your idea or something and made it funnier than you expected it was going to be?
The whole script?
Yeah.
I mean, kind of seriously, like I really feel like Joey just elevates every joke that I write, whether like it seems so basic on paper, and then, you know, if it's like just like Robot Guy is sad, but like Robot Guy being sad is hilarious when Joey draws it, you know, like it's way funnier when you see it than I just write it. Like, you know, I'm trying to write beats, like, you know, comedy beats to make sure it has a rhythm and it's actually funny, and like the jokes aren't just random, but like they you know, lend to the scene and like what's happening. But never anything at the expense of a joke, right? We always want your takeaway is like, I laughed when I read SuperGuy, you know? And I just feel like Joey just elevates all the jokes, adds to them too. You know, it's not just that he, like, I'm the only one bringing the humor to this. Right. Like, there's so many visual gags, you know, stuff that's not in the script, stuff that it's just like maybe the nuance of a word, or just like, I think in my head, a lot of the times I'm writing something and what's in my head, Joey sees it, even if I poorly described it on the page. Yeah. And then sometimes I'm like, oh shit. Like when he sends me something, I'm like, this is awesome, but I know I didn't write it this way. Like, I know this is all you, Joey. And like, that's, you know, like SuperGuy isn't anything without those things.
And that actually really goes right into my next question, which was, what's something you've learned about storytelling from working with each other?
Well, as we were talking about before, being able to tell a page story in less panels than you think you might need. You know, there's definitely like you can see like flipping through issue number 1 and like going through like even like issue number 2. There's a huge like the visual, like you can see the difference in like the number of panels in a particular page and everything. So like just learning how to be able to tell the same story in less than I used to was a pretty good learning experience. And I think I'm kind of doing pretty good, if I do say so myself.
I think so.
I figured it out.
I think you're doing great, dude. Yeah, no,
Thank you.
I think especially like, look, comics is so collaborative no matter what. For us, it's just 2 guys, right? Like it's just me and Joey. Joey's doing art. He's inking, penciling, coloring, lettering, cover work. I'm writing it, right? So like Joey's doing the heavy lifting here.
Yep.
And if I was just writing my own stories, I don't have to collaborate with anybody. I could just write a story, it's prose, whatever. But what the storytelling process with a comic is so collaborative. And so it's teaching, like I've always felt like I kind of work good with other people. Maybe I prefer working by myself sometimes, but like the story isn't what is just in my script. So I'm just learning how to make comics, like I'm not just writing them. It's like Joey transforming it into what it's it's a visual medium, so what it's supposed to be. And that's all new to me. Like I've written scripts, I've written stories, so I'm learning how to tell a story literally in a comic. And like me and Joey, like I don't know, there's just like this chemistry there, right? Like I'm not even just trying to toot his horn or trying to even make it sound like magical, but it's just like we're always on the same page. And if we're not, we like quickly get there because like we both have the same vision for, like we're never not. I guess I can't really think of an example where we haven't been on the same page. So maybe I'm lying about that. Maybe we're too perfect, Joey. No, like I'm just
if anything, it's more like, oh, what if like this, we just see it from this. Like there's that one where like the agents are in the car and you're like, oh, like we want this specific like visual. I'm like, oh yeah, I got it. And then yeah, like nothing. There's been like
I can say as a reader of issue 1,
anything.
Love that. I was gonna say that as someone who's read issue 1, you can tell as a reader that you guys are having a lot of fun. As a collaborative team. It's just the comic reads fun. The art reads fun, and just the story altogether, I feel like reads fun. So I feel like you guys, that genuine and that sense of curiosity and just making something, I feel like really comes across.
That's awesome. Thank you.
It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun to make. So I'm glad that it comes across on the page.
This is a good question for both of you too. Do you see SuperGuy as a long-running series, a set of kind of mini-series, or is there actually an endpoint already in sight?
I mean, I'd like it to be a long-running series, I'd like to keep it going.
Really, for as long as we can, and you know what I mean? Like it's not something that I've ever thought of having an ending. Like it's not like we have ideas for where, like this is our first arc, right? So we envision 4 issues, maybe 6 if we could push it that much. The whole thing with 6 issues, with 4 issues, is that indie comics generally do 4 issues. It's like it's the easiest way to just be like, okay, not the easiest, but it's easier than 6 issues, to at least get to a trade, which would be like the ideal way to push the series, have each of the 4 chapters together in one story. And I think it would just feel more cohesive. Cause we have an idea of this first arc. We know what the second arc would be. We even know what the third arc would be. Already in this first arc, we're teasing what is coming in the future of SuperGuy. You see it at the end of issue 1. You'll see it again at the end of issue 2. It's kind of our little post-credits tease. So we definitely have a ton of ideas. A lot of them are not even close to on paper. A lot of them have not even been incorporated into the story yet. we definitely don't want to bite off more than we could chew or
Yep.
overpromise on something that we could only really put out one issue a year. So we're definitely trying to toe the line there. But we just have so many ideas, and like the only thing that would stop us is like Armageddon, probably.
Well, Chip Zdarsky is doing that event for Marvel.
Oh, you're right. Damn it.
This is actually another good question. We're getting to our closing segment, but has there been any memorable, reader feedback or fan interactions from the first issue that you guys wanted to share that you received or took you by surprise?
For me, like this year at Comic-Con, I like would run into people that like maybe I've talked to online, like friends online in the comic book community or just other creators, whether they were at a table or not. And like a bunch of people recognized me and a bunch of people knew about SuperGuy. Mm-hmm. And that just blew my mind. Like just for the simple fact that like at New York Comic-Con that like there's like 200,000 people there, probably more, like 200, And so just to run into anybody, there is kind of a miracle. But just that fact, I ran into so many people that, I'm friends with. But then, just people being like, hey, SuperGuy, like just that name is out there on people's lips. Like that's a cool thing, like I still don't think, we're there yet, like we're definitely building up an audience for SuperGuy. But I don't know, that made me feel like not so, it was a little bit hard not to be humble about that. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh shit. Like, like maybe I'm doing something right. Like, like I feel like I'm shouting into, it kind of feels like this, like SuperGuy in a black void, like, hey, SuperGuy, but like the fact that it resonated with enough people, that's an awesome feeling,
100%.
Yeah. I had one guy, when I went to LA Comic-Con, I brought a whole bunch of copies to like pass out and stuff, and I gave it to one guy, I forget who, and he was flipping through and he's like, oh, I've seen this guy, and he's pointing at that SuperGuy and he's like, I know this guy, and I was like, oh, that's so cool. I've never had that experience before. And so like someone, like another comic creator knowing my artwork and like our character is pretty awesome. It was a good good high to be at.
It's gonna be a great feeling.
Yeah, I at Comic-Con too, an example of that, I gave a copy to Philip Kennedy Johnson. I'm like, sweet. Okay, right? Like I want to give it to him, and he's like, oh, I've read this before. I'm like, no, you haven't. There's no way you had this in your hands before. Like, he's like, no, I'm pretty sure I did. I'm like, nah, there's no way, man. I was like, just read it. Like I just couldn't believe it. Like I still don't believe it. I think but like if he had read it before then, that's kind of amazing,
No kidding. This is actually another good question, kind of going forward. What's, I guess, a two-part question. What's next for SuperGuy after issue 2? And then what's also next for both of you in terms of creative stuff for the rest of this year?
Well, as far as the creative stuff for the rest of the year, I don't have anything really planned past SuperGuy. Like I do a lot of my own kind of stuff, and I do a lot of like freelance like commissions and portraits and stuff like that for people online and everything. But I know I have a few older stories that I want to kind of revamp and like kind of get back out there that like hasn't really seen the light since like 2018. Okay. So like I have a story about a dinosaur daycare that's like a children's book with like a bit of a dark ending, but I got a kick out of making it, and people really enjoyed like reading it at the time. So I'd like to kind of like get that back out and like kind of like maybe redo it in my current skill level of drawing, because it's gotten a lot better since back then. I think that's it.
Nice. Okay, so for me, there is a story I've been working on for a zombie anthology. So something it's completely different from SuperGuy. That's supposed to come out this year. We're almost done with it. It's a 10-pager. It's going to be completely in black and white. It's going to be part of the Zombies We're Human 2 anthology. It's called Nonna Non Morta, which basically means like undead grandma in Italian. I'm pretty sure. I hope that's what But yeah, it's like it's a really dark comedy, really dark, about a grandmother and her grandson, who is just a college age guy trapped together during the during a zombie apocalypse. So it's really fun. You know, it's really hard to write a 10-pager. A shorter comic is so much harder to write.
Yes, I've been told that.
Yeah. So that's what I'm kind of working on this year, getting better at that. I might have a couple other anthology appearances, but definitely working on those. And I don't want to say anything about them because I don't even have stories for them yet. Like they need to like actually exist first. But of course, you know, we want SuperGuy 3 to happen. Right now, we're still, I'm going to check real quick. We're still at 95%. So we're not 100% funded for SuperGuy 2 yet, but I know we're going to do it. And that's going to push us to SuperGuy 3. The script is not done for SuperGuy 3 yet, but I've got like maybe half of it there. I've been working on it. Joey hasn't seen what I've been working on yet, so that's pretty cool. He's seen some of it. Like I sent him a draft a while ago. It's not like something that like I haven't worked on at all, but I'm just trying to, you know, as the characters evolve and we like understand where they're going a little better, it tweaks certain ideas I had at the beginning. And that's never a bad thing. I just want it to work. And again, I want it to be funny. So I always have to balance like it not just turning into like some overly melodramatic superhero thing. Like it still has those elements, but I always want it to be a comedy first. So I want it to like play as a comedy. But I think we have plenty of ideas to make here. The third, like another thing, right? Like is, and someone else had asked me this because SuperGuy 1 is kind of like, it's a very like character focused SuperGuy, robot guy, you know, having not only a battle with each other, but like in their own, like, well, robot guy's own mind of being a hero versus being a sidekick. And just kind of setting the stage. Whereas issue 2, it's a bit different. Like, yeah, we still get like a knockdown, drag out battle, but like my date with the president's daughter is different than like that, right? Like it's still SuperGuy, but it's just different. And I want each issue to feel like its own little adventure. You know, like if you're watching a TV show, like each episode, like, I don't know, I'm just thinking of like something like the Powerpuff Girls. Like, yeah, they're always fighting different villains, but like it could have a different feel to like each, you know, way they handle it, right? And I feel like the zanier we could get with that, the better. And I just want to, another thing I always check in with you, Joey, like, do you have the time to keep doing this? You know, because for me, I could write and do other things. I could write multiple things, but with SuperGuy, like it has to take up a lot of your time. And like, that's something I want to always be conscious of. Like, you know, this is fun to make, but like the reality is we all have lives, you know? So like,
I mean, yeah, it does take a lot of time, but I enjoy every minute of it. It's like not really work, you know? Like it's work, but it's not work.
Exactly.
Yeah. So no worries.
So for viewers out there, where can they find you both online? And SuperGuy, I should say.
Oh yeah. For me, Instagram, Blue Sky, Threads, it's all Jarian spelt. That's as simple as I can make it.
Yeah, and I'm Mr. Tony Nacho everywhere. I don't have Twitter anymore, so I got rid of that. But you know, Threads, Instagram, Blue Sky, of course, TikTok. Upscrolled, yeah. You know what? Yeah. I forgot about that. I saw you were tagging me and stuff. I'm like, I should open the app. I should open the app. And
I downloaded it and I literally have not looked at it since.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. Like I followed a few people and then I just didn't look at it again.
Yep.
But I am working on a website that should be up soon, MrTonyNacho.com. So I'll let everyone know about that. Especially because going back to, again, what we're talking about with social media, like sometimes you never know what people see. But I know if I made a website and people cared enough to just want to check out my stuff, that you're going to see it there, right? There's no algorithm blocking that. So I want to try with that this year and see if that would be a better way to get my work out there. Because I know I'm chronically online too. And like, you know, just being on social media too much, I feel like it's starting to like mess with my brain and I don't like that. So, you know, if I could be online, but be a little bit more detached, that feels healthier.
Absolutely. And mental health in the creative space is super important. So.
For sure.
My last question to close this out is a fun but odd one. Do you happen to have a favorite snack or a meal as a go-to when you need to sit down in a chair and work on some things for a couple hours?
Ooh, I'm a snacker, so I like both salty and sweet. So like if I can have like a bowl of like chips, be it potato chips or like tortilla chips, whatever, just something salty that I can just like crunch on, or like gummies. I'm a sucker for a gummy. Bears, worms, whatever. I don't care. They're all delicious, you know. And if I could get like a little bit of each, you know, so I'm like, you know, switching it up a little bit as I draw. That's also pretty cool.
Nice.
Nice. I feel like, you know, I like snack after the fact. I can't snack and work at the same time because I'm obsessed with the snack that I just like if I'm starting, I don't have a bowl of chips. I'm grabbing the bag and then I'm not stopping. Like I'm that kind of snacker. So I'm either working or snacking, but like, you know, if I'm writing for a while, like I need the brain energy. So I'd rather go for something like chocolatey or something with sugar.
Right.
Just whatever I have. I've been trying to, I'm deadly with snacks. So I try not to keep them in my house because if they're there, I will eat them. You know, it's that kind of thing.
Same.
And then I'm mad I don't have any snacks.
Because you ate them all.
Yeah.
I've been there.
Right.
I know exactly how that goes.
That's
All
as
right,
much
well,
as I'm SuperGuy.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Well, everybody out there, thanks so much for sticking with us through 51, almost 52 minutes now. So the Kickstarter is still ongoing. There's still plenty of time to support it. Let's make sure it gets the 100% funding and then some so we can get issue 3 in the near future. So Joey and Anthony, thank you so much for taking some time out of your schedules to join us. I know it's not easy to coordinate these a lot of the time because people live in different places. So thank you again for coming on the show. It's been great.
Thank you, Jameson.
Thanks for having us.
Fun.
It's been a good time.
All right. Well, this has been Comics for All, where comics, creativity, and community all connect, and we will see you next time. Take care.
Peace.
Back us.